So Coach Green was working with me one day because I said, oh, I'm going to clean out my junk drawer. She said, she came in, she got the drawer, she pulled it out. I was going through picking out each item. She said, no, she took the drawer and dumped it. You can't begin to organize until you dump the drawer, get everything out to see what you have, then you can begin to organize.
Hello, welcome to Monetizing Mompreneurs podcast, where I take you behind the scenes with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, moms, working professionals, and amazing people pursuing their passions and going for their dreams. And I'm your host, Linda Mendable.
Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's episode, you're going to basically be listening to the Monetizing Mompreneurs Summit. You're going to be listening to one of our speakers, and you're absolutely going to get some great takeaways. We had the Monetizing Mompreneurs Summit this past June 7th through the 9th, and it was such an amazing experience. I was so blessed to have Cassie as my coworker. So I hope that you guys enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one.
I want to introduce to you our speaker, Joy. Joy, welcome. Joy Massenburge crafts contemporary love stories. She was born the sixth child of a pastor. She married a football player turned pastor. They raised pastors' kids, a son and two daughters. She is blessed to love on 6 grandchildren. Congratulations, Joy, on the 6 grandbabies. During the week, Joy is a mindset accountability coach, helping women, entrepreneurs, and creatives co-author action steps based on their 3 core focus areas so they can not only start a project, but finish strong. Woo! She serves on the National Board of American Christian Fiction Writers. When she is not writing, she is providing Psalms 119 inspirational videos for social media or keynote speaking at women's retreats and conferences. Welcome, Mrs. Joy Massenburge.
Oh, look at you. You did good. You did that very, very, very well. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I am so happy to be here with my ladies. And guys, you might need a piece of paper. I'm sure y'all came prepared. I know I've got moms here, but I know most moms, if you're like me, oh my goodness, they say I wear 18, 11 hats. Yeah, everybody's like, yeah. And guess what? They said it's too many, but I say if you learn how to wear them one at a time, the more the merrier. Mm-hmm. Okay, so like before we even get started, what happens? I've had an emotional evening, an emotional morning. So what I'm going to do is just prepare you. When I'm emotional like that, sometimes I bounce all over the place. So what I'm going to do is make sure I give you your main points so I don't have to worry about it. Can we get that out the way? All right. 3 main points that I just want to make sure that you're going to walk away with when you are preparing your calendar. Self-awareness. We're going to talk about that one a lot. So I'm not going to say anything else, but sometimes we have, which talent should I cultivate? Which talent should I sit to the side or it's becoming a distraction? Okay. We're going to talk about dump the drawer, the junk drawer. That's going to be, that's a type of journaling. So like today, what I had to do before I got on this call was to say, okay, what should I have done? What should I have done? What didn't I do? What could I do? What do I want to do? And just, because what I want you to think about is, where's your junk drawer? Bathroom? Yeah, the one that has a makeup that you still have to kind of, brush or get stuck on so you can't pull it all the way out, or yeah. Or kitchen. I've got one in the kitchen. 2, okay. So you get it, right? Okay, all right. Guys, because I'm gonna have to talk about my own story in here a lot, please just interact with me so that I don't feel selfish. Okay. So in that drawer, what I learned is when I went in the kitchen and I read this book right here, y'all might want to add that one to your list, moms. This one is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Good book, but it's harder than you think. So Coach Green, that's Joy K. Massenburge and Associates. So Coach Green was working with me one day because I said, oh, I'm going to clean out my junk drawer. She said, she came in and she got the drawer, she pulled it out. I was going through picking out each item. She said, no, she took the drawer and dumped it. You can't begin to organize until you dump the drawer, get everything out to see what you have. Then you can begin to organize. So do you see how when we get ready to do our planner, the first thing you have to do is dump everything that's in here. What all do I have to do? What do I want to do? What should I do? So that then we can go in that drawer and then decide, according to my focus day, my buffer day, or my free day, according to those 3 core areas, guess what? That should make my calendar this week. This should be on my calendar this week. So let's talk about focus. And you see, I'm just hitting them because I'm going to come back. All right. So my focus, think about hunting. When I'm hunting, that is my revenue generating day. That means I've got a speaking gig or I'm coaching that day, but I don't do that every day of the week. I can't, not if I'm going to fill my calendar with things that I love and value. So that's my focus day. Those are money generating activities. Some of you might work outside the home. I generally work here, except for when I'm booked to leave the home to go speak. But I coach mostly virtually from here. But I have an elderly mother that I help take care of. Okay, so Wednesday is elderly care plan day. I already know I have to leave the house by 2 o'clock, CST time. So I can be there, right? To take care of her. So that on that focus day, that's letting me know I've dumped out my drawer. There's some things that's going to make it. Some things are not going to make it. Okay. But then I also have my buffer days. Those are planning days. Think admin, email. It might be recording videos like I do for Psalms 119 that Cassie mentioned. You need some morning motivation, guys? Head on over to Instagram. Get that little morning pick me up. It's there, but I've recorded them just for you. Okay. And then we're going to have a free day. If you're like me, say this with me, ladies. Mastering my calendar is a process.
Mastering my calendar is a process.
Y'all got it? I'm going to make you say it again till you believe it. Mastering my calendar is a process. Because in the beginning, I did not see how to put a free day in there. A whole day? Do you know what all I got to do? There's no way. I just can't get it done. I have too many responsibilities. So Cassie mentioned just a few things, but what we're going to do, we're going to go through and dissect my life, and I'm going to show you how I used it so you can kind of have a practical way so you can see how to use it in your own life. Okay. But before we do that, again, remember, I need an interactive activity right now so I don't feel selfish. Y'all had a piece of paper? All right. This is what I need you to do. Here's another tidbit. And I am going to slow down. This whole process is getting ready to slow down. It's okay, ladies. For the next minute, I need you to draw. Some of you are saying, guess what? I'm not an artist. I've never done that. Do you know new things should be added into your calendar at least once a month? It fuels creativity. It builds confidence. Why? Because the things we're most nervous about is things we've never done before. But the more things that you do that's new, the more confident you are. You see that, hey, I did something new and I got through it. Actually went pretty good. And you become more confident in trying new things, right? So for the next minute, what you're going to do, this is the only rules. Listen to me. Only rules is for you to draw until I tell you to stop. That's the only rules. I'm going to say go, draw, and then I'm going to tell you to stop. Everybody got that? Shake your heads with me. Awesome. All right, go. All righty, stop. And y'all come off mute for this one. Okay, who's willing to share? What did you come up with? Can you share with us what you came up with? And if you can't share, I understand some people are just listening. That's fine too. But if I have someone that's able to share, I'd love to see what you did. Stacy, did I see you come off mute? You ready to show me what you did?
Yes. Okay, so I'm not artistic. All right. So this is very much like what I would draw when I was a kid. So that's what I did.
I love it.
A tree in the sunshine.
I love it. Did y'all see how she did the house and a tree? There was no rules. She said, hey, I'm going to draw until you said start, and then I stopped. Great. Did it frustrate you that I didn't give you any more rules?
Yes. Yeah. I like to know what to do and I have like guidelines and have a plan and yeah, but then I just went with it. So I'm trusting the process.
Oh, looky there. And even though you went with it, weren't totally comfortable, how did you feel when I said stop, how did you feel?
I kind of wanted to keep going. I was like, well, I could add a cloud, I could add birds, I could, you know.
I love it. Okay, I'm going somewhere there. Great, great job. Thank you, Stacy. Is that Ayana?
Yeah, that's my name.
Ayana, would you like to share with us this morning?
I guess, yeah. Same, I'm not an artist, but if you can see, I drew a bunch of different things. I'm not a good artist.
A volcano?
No, well, a mountain. A mountain, and then I drew myself swimming in a lake. So.
But I'm loving it, loving it. There was no rules, but you drew. That was the great thing. So we're all understanding that we create, right? Dr. Kessler came off. Did you get a chance to participate? If you didn't, that's fine.
No, I had a child who was finishing up practicing piano. Sorry.
Look, we're moms around here. We get it. We get it. We get it. But let me tell you guys what I wanted to show you in that. Did you at any time, because I gave you, when you leave it wide open like that, you could have done anything, right? Did it almost serve as a distraction? Yeah, right? So I just wanted to take that to show you that sometimes our gifts and the things that we're able to do, especially if the minute I stopped working, getting out and going to somebody's job, sitting in their desk, everybody felt like my time was theirs. I should be available to them. Well, you ain't got to clock in. You got all of this. Y'all see where I'm going with this. But I'm going to tell you to focus. We were created to focus. And when I say focus, one of the things that if you noticed on the chart, I might show it one more time just so you can see this part right here. Y'all see this right here, this pie? I love this idea. There is a pizza chain. Have y'all seen that? That pizza chain, and they have just that pie as their logo. Because once I had an artist do that assignment, it was so neat that they went in and found that one item. They focused in on that. They added pepperoni. They had cheese dripping. They made layers out of one thing that they just kept building on. So when I began to, I was like, okay, that's what I have to do. I have to get to the point where I'm not trying to wear all of my 8 hats at one time, but enjoying my life, putting the things on the calendar that I believe in, that now that I'm more self-aware and where my values are, I can map it all out rather than getting distracted. All right, here we go. Like I said, I'm gonna have to kind of pick on myself and get in my own life. Do y'all know the definition? So I gave you a picture of focus. Would y'all be surprised if the definition of focus said that it was an earthquake? I was like, oh, I didn't see that. But if you go to the core of the earth and you focus there, that is where the earthquake lives. Okay? At the core of the earth, y'all, there's those tectonic plates. It's rock. Do you know that our earth is shifting all the time? And when it's shifting, what happens sometimes, they'll get in there, they'll get deadlocked and nothing can get through. It is the job of the earthquake to send energy along those the faults. Bam, just think of a wave or seismic wave of energy along those faults to break that rock up. You say, why? Because the earthquake knows its job. The earthquake's job is to sustain life. If water's not able to cycle through to the core and be heated up to where what then turns to a gas, comes back up, then what will we get with water that's not going through that process? Stagnant, it's not purified. It also, its job is when it does that shaking, it sends up our resources, natural gases, gold, minerals, that sustains the life of man. Remember I told you was created to create, connect, contribute? We were all created for a purpose. That's why your calendar is so important, because that purpose that he's given me, Let me tell you something. The earthquake can get caught up in the fact that man built some houses along their fault line. I've always been so distracted with the fact of the destruction of the earthquake, I didn't realize its benefits. If those plates continue to stay locked up, do you know the earth begins to stretch out of its sphere? It has a purpose. When you were created, you have a purpose. That's why it's so important that I come in and I go through the process, that I might have to try a new strategy that's new to me, but it becomes freeing, like Stacy experienced once she got there. Because one of the things that I was called to do is to write. There's 3 ways you can contribute, ladies. And y'all know I wish I had hours of time, but I don't. So I'm going to throw it out here. Y'all have to get with me later to get all the details. But there's 3 ways you can contribute, okay? Either you can give. Sometimes that's, well, majority of the time, that's money. You give money and you contribute it that way to help somebody, all right, make something happen. Or maybe you gave a car to the person who, y'all see how the policeman who bought the car for the woman who was walking. Anyway, he gave something. That's being a contributor. Or you can cause something to happen. Like you've got your leaders here like Linda and Cassie who caused this event to happen for you today, right? You can be a contributor in that way. Or you can be a contributor in the way where through an article, all right, through articles being published. That's the 3 major categories of contributing. You think it doesn't have any impact? Let me tell you something. On your blueprint, if you go look in your house, do you have a living room on that blueprint? Those used to be called parlors. What happened was death parlors. If you dated back, everything was where they would go in, view the bodies, and they were like, you know what, we would like to have bring more positivity to this place in our home. Instead of focusing on the dead, why don't we focus on the living? And it became the living room. Through an article he published, it took and sprung. And guess what? The people's ideas begin to change. And now your blueprints say living room. What call on your life has God purposed you to do that you contribute to the fact that it changes the mindset of people, of a nation, through time? Guys, you've been created to create, to connect like this. We're sharing ideas so everybody's lives can have more joy in them, and to contribute. That's our purpose. That's why we're going to go in, even though Master My Calendar can be a little bit hard at times. And I'm going to give you some more steps here, but now you see why it's worth it, right? All right. So, like I said, I'm going to be selfish. We're going to dig into my life. You heard Cassie say, hey, I am a hybrid author. That means I've traditionally published through Lighthouse. It's Lighthouse Publishing of the Carolinas, but I've also independently published. But I'm excited. Bethany House just contacted me about my latest novel. So, and they was just like, hey, can we get a full manuscript on that? So hopefully I'll have a new one coming out for you. So yes, I do that. But I'm also a speaker, as I am here. But guys, I've been speaking for like 20 plus years, telling my story of how I married a man I could not love, but my best friend led me to Christ. So what do? I fill romance stories full of the principles that he taught me when he told me that I would be his wife. And I told him, I don't love you like that. But I wanted a family. I trusted him. I had some issues in my life. That's a whole story I'll tell another day. I'm gonna write that book one day. But he led me to Christ. So what? I now share that in my romance novels because I want somebody else to experience love like that. And that's possible even if you think it's not. So that's my thought I want to contribute to the world. I'm the visionary of JKM and A and Associates. So only thing that means is, guys, along my path of writing, I ran into a lot of women who was writing and felt guilty about doing something that they loved. I'm neglecting my kids. I'm neglecting my husband. Hold on. Let me help you. Come in here, master your calendar so we can make time for that. Because that one I know, guys, that man that I couldn't love then, I'll celebrate 30 years on the 25th of July. And let me tell you something, in that time, because he stuck by me all those times, it became very important that in my morning routine, okay, I get up at 5 a.m., it's automatically, Joy, throw yourself out the bed. All right, come in here to your office. Remember that dump the drawer journaling? What you could have done, should have done, would have done. Then you come in here and you look for truth. This is what you're able to do. Remember, Joy, today's a free day. Oh, you can enjoy. Joy, today's a focus day. Oh, Joy, today, get your emails. I know you hate doing emails, but today's that day. And you only have to do it for 2 hours. Are y'all seeing what I'm telling you to do? All right, so that's in my morning routine. My daily routine, and again, your life's not like mine, so we would adjust that to fit your life. I'm gonna be hunting. I'm gonna be doing my focus time. Okay, I'm gonna be doing those things, doing my daily. But I created a bedtime routine because of that husband that had served me all in the beginning of my marriage. Began to go through, y'all. Let me say, COVID has really hit him. It destroyed our business. We haul brand new automobiles. And, you know, first of all, they turned that into where they was doing hand sanitizer. They shut down all the new cars. Then, hey, we came out of that only for our motor to blow. Then we came out of that for them to lose the chips out in China and we couldn't get any new cars. This is a man who's used to working and providing, who's just like, I don't know what to do with myself. It was very important that we had open communication. I made sure I was out of my office by a certain time. I create a bedtime routine. He likes to play on his phone. I found a puzzle he liked and we started doing it together. Communication, he began to finally open up. I look to you more than just my provider. That's not the only reason. Man, you've been loyal. You've raised our children. You're a great grandfather. You're a great pastor. So that in my calendar, are you seeing how my values and my beliefs are lined up on my calendar? Now, guys, I could go on and on and on. I could. I serve on the national board of ACFW. I work with writers like Rachel Hout, Colleen Coble. There's so many more. Alan Arnold. I volunteer at the Anna Mae Green Foundation. At the end of the day, because I want to leave room for questions, only thing I would tell you to write down today, more than anything that you got from me, is to trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus, but to trust and obey. And the only reason I went into that little ditty is because, yes, I have to sing sometimes too. Y'all heard my husband, the pastor, right? The minister of music, he gone. They got to replace them. They talking about get up there. Now you got to lead praise and worship. That's life. It might send you a loophole. I'm not the best singer. Sometimes talents and gifts can be a distraction. I sing okay. And if I wasn't on this little loop, and I probably would have sung better. But that's not my major gift. I know to contribute the way I'm supposed to contribute is through my writings to change the world. So on Sunday morning only, don't call me and ask me to sing at your church, because I'm gonna refer you to Ashley Cole. I ain't coming over there. That's not my calling. You get what I'm saying? Even though it's a talent, don't get distracted, guys, on some of these things you can do. Girl, you do the best decoration. Don't you want, my sister, don't you want to come over and help me decorate? That ain't my calling today. And guess what? Today, it's not a free day, it's a focus day. So I'm gonna have to say no. Because that time I do have, that's reserved for my husband or for those grandbabies. Oh, y'all know I help, because my daughter, they're like, McKenna was finna turn 8 and all the way down. I got one that's 91 years old. So I help with that, and I want to be available to that. Putting the things I believe in and that I love on my calendar. And that's what I want for you. And as I would say on Psalms 119 morning, take that and run with it. I'm Joy K. Massenburge, your morning motivator, serving you a hot cup of inspiration so you can be productive and a joy to someone else. So ask away. I could keep talking.
Joy, thank you so much. And I already feel connected to her because there is this little small town called Ore City, Texas. I lived there as a little girl. And so anyway, that's a whole story, but I already feel connected to this woman because I think anyone from Ore City might be a good person because it's such a small little town. But Joy, you really brought some insight to the calendar. I would say I love the dump the drawer. I love the categories that you had. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is going to alone just tie into, yes, what's your focus, but trust and obey. And I think when we have that self-awareness, we're able to be able to hear clearer in the moving around, because you mentioned your husband. I mean, how many of us may not even have that husband that supports us in that capacity of a calling or a business or whatever is on our heart? And so to be able to fit him into that calendar, that he can see that he is valued in that home. So that you touched on so many aspects of it, and your delivery was awesome. So if we could first, and if you guys do have questions, just give her a huge thumbs up, round of applause. Thank you for coming in, for pouring into us what you have learned and how you have grown. That is what this whole summit is all about. And so thank you for that. If you have any questions for Joy, we're going to be taking a break here, but if Joy's around, we'll just be able to kind of go through that. She would love to answer any of the questions that you might have. I'm going to be quiet for a second because I'm going to think of some of my questions if I have any. But Joy, here we got Dr. Kesslin. How many focus, buffer, and free days do you have?
Oh, girl, look. Let me pull my plan out right quick so you can see what I'm talking about.
Oh, that has another question for me, and I'll put that.
Yeah, I gave this to the this is something I gave to the ladies so y'all could have it, so y'all could see. But anyway, generally, I'm gonna have 3 focus days. 3 is unless sometimes, like if I get that special gig, now I ain't turning down some of these great moments. Some of these great moments, I will go to 4, but 3 focus days. Because like I told you, Wednesday is my elderly care plan day that's in there. And then Sunday is my free day. So y'all say, oh, is it really free if you have to go to church for me? Yes, because if that's a day, I'm going to rest. I don't have to do anything. I think I got people who are talking to me. Yeah, I'm not as good with the chat.
You're good. Thank you. You did that great, that answer. So that was 3 focus days?
3 focus days for me. My buffer days are really important. I spend a lot of time on Saturday. I buffer every Saturday before my week even begins. Because I'm really gonna journal out what's most important that week, what I can't miss, what I can miss. You get what I'm saying? Everything, I just dump everything I have to do.
Okay. All right. So Ayana has a question. How did you get this is so good. How did you get your family on the same page as you when it comes to your focus and free days?
Oh, girl, let me tell you something. That is a process. But what I started doing, and I know some of y'all have like little bitty bitties, but it's a grandmother does not get a reprieve. I'm letting y'all know. You can see some of my videos I've made. They were there. I had to take care of babies because mama was in the hospital. So what I did was I started once a month where everybody has to come to my house. I cook their favorite meals. And I began to discuss ahead of time. Because when I first took on this concept, guys, these are my focus days. You have to be consistent too. And they get used to it because now I notice they'll send me a text message. I know this is your day, but by any chance, did you get an opening? So, but I prepared them. I had a family meeting. So just get a big family meeting together. And then I reinforce it once a month. The second Saturday of the month, they get out of church and everybody knows they come to mama's house and their favorite. I asked them the month before, what's your favorite that you want me to cook? So I have a chance of getting them there. Okay. And then that's when I have this planned. I have this. When I have big events, like when I had to do 50,000 words and only had 17 days on my calendar, I had everybody come over. This is what I need from you. I even had my daughter hey, when I reach my writing goal each day, can you make sure my grandbabies are available? That's my reward. Because I love to give them treats, but you know how folk have all these rules for the grandparents. I said, not on this day. I need it to be, I can give them a popsicle. I need it to be that nobody's in trouble. Let all that happen at your house. I don't want to be on chastisement. I did that with y'all. I just want to enjoy my grandbabies. So one day, for people who aren't there yet, this is just ideas for when you do get there, okay? On the grandbabies. But yeah, meetings, and make it to where they'll want to come to your meeting. Just whatever they like, get them there. Paint party, whatever.
But food is a big one. And it sounds like food is the love language in your home. So
Yes,
what is
we're
the
always at the
love
table.
language, ladies?
Yes.
Your home, tap into that. And then that's going to go into building those relationships and cultivating those relationships, because Joy probably has a reason why she's passionate about this. And she has made that clear to her family. This is my passion project and my business. And so to have them, I think sometimes when you cultivate that kind of a relationship, they begin to want to support that, your why.
That is correct. Yeah. And guys, they're invited onto my platform. They're there. They help me write the chapters. Then when I'm at events, I'm majorly shouting them out. I'm even putting in my book and scenes something they said, and they love to find it. Oh, Mommy, you used that. I did. My son-in-law always comes up with a wild, different animal. I need a chicken in this book. Okay. I need a this in that book. Okay. I figured it out though.
It can take time, right? To get your family, right? And I would say one of the first people you want is your husband somehow, but if you can't get him, right? I have my children range from 3 to 22. So I get the big one. Looks like Joy too has her big ones kind of on board, right? And they support. Yeah. So today, to make it happen, my dad decided he wanted to roll over with my oldest. And even we have great grandma. She is coming in because they have just learned that this is what I do. And so I think there's also, Joy, what do you think about the anxiousness? What do you do with that anxiousness? You said trust and obey God, but if you have a calling, if he has pressed into you to have this business, it may be a ministry, you may be a writer, it may just be an out and out business. You may even be going to step into it and you have not yet, and you are feeling anxious about that. And I love, how can you tie that into your calendar? Because I am anxious to put this live or this client on here, whatever the anxiousness is, how would you say that?
I love that you asked that, because I experience it all the time. As far as sometimes I wonder, am I missing something? Because I've gotten my calendar down to the point where, like the first of the year, that first quarter, I designate that the women's ministry, like I told you, I'm over the women's ministry. I only do that through April. I do not do it any other time because I want to leave room for the opportunities. So that anxiety for me is saying, I took time at the beginning of the year. So I don't do anything that first part of the year. I've told myself that the most important things. So when you have those anxiety, I journal it out. I find truth. I don't care if it's a law, like the law of polarity. I deal with a lot of laws and principles, things that don't change, to anchor me. And what my truth is. First thing I would have told myself was, you said you weren't going to take on new opportunities because you're committed to the women for the first 4 months of the year. Lord God, you are my provider. You created me. No opportunity misses me. If it's still good, if it's still for me, it'll be here after April. So I leave room for even creativity, for even things like you're saying. This is new. Then let me check my calendar, because integrity is one of my values. And I say I have to be true to myself. I have a tool called Advanced Insights, where it comes in and tells me about where I'm gifted. If it's an opportunity where I get to compete for the team, where I'm able to be very, what they say, aggressive, where it leaves room for me to lead and be aggressive, because those are my superpowers. I fight for my team. So when opportunities present themselves and they look like that, because I have that awareness, Cassie, it takes away from, anxiety to start something. I'm like, no, that's God. I know you'll make room on my calendar. And I sit down, I measure, like you said, I sit with my husband, I sit with my family, and we work it out and we get it done. So, but does that take a process? Yes. And maybe you need to get with someone to help you until you get strong enough. Just like I'm watching your relationship with Linda and what you do in events like this. I couldn't do it by myself at first.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with coaches who trained me to help me and gave me those pieces over the years.
Right. Yeah, I think the anxiousness is we've got to identify, love that, is you've got to identify, okay, your schedule. So because you have an organized schedule, you're able to do that. If you have any more questions, I know we just have Joy for a few more minutes. You have any more questions, please go ahead and take this opportunity to ask her. But that anxiousness can stop us from putting something on our calendar, or sometimes it is wisdom saying that should not go on the calendar. And so being able to understand that, but because Joy is talking about how to lay out that calendar and look at that, and she says integrity is key here,
Know
right?
yourself.
So you don't
Yes.
want to, so those boundaries and protecting that space on that calendar for what is already on there is, because she does not want to overbook, double book, which I'm sure, she has or whatever. And so how do we do those things? Right. So that's so good. That's so good. Yeah. I think the anxiousness is managing that anxiousness is really key. And so Joy says, I think sometimes we don't want to invest in that coach, maybe that finances or whatever, but because I know that this is a calling that I have, we put some of our giving money towards those investment things. That was before I was making my own money and income. And so now I do that, but it was like, you know what, Lord, I feel like this is of you in a ministry, and investing in me getting stronger so that I can go out and speak your word. I can speak what you want me to say. I can get on where you need me to go. I'm not saying that everyone should do something like that.
But too, it alleviated the stress, which would take my money in another direction. Because when I was stressed, I told you I had some physical issues before I started managing that account. Stress is a killer. They had me up to 6 pills. No, all because I had not learned how to tell people no.
So I see, Joy, why this calendar thing became such an important thing to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
right.
it was life-changing because I wanted to live. I've got too many to live for.
Got too many to live for. And as Mama's, right, she came in and said, we have 18 hats, but if you learn which hat to wear at that moment, all the other hats kind of they just all kind of fall to the side. So
Right.
Joy, tell us where we can find you.
Oh, go to the website. That is www.joykmassenburge.com. But if you're looking for that morning inspiration, guys, it's my name, Joy K. Massenburge. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Yes. And so Joy, also you have on the website, Monetizing Mompreneurs, .com, you guys are able to go in, you can purchase if you want to get more access to the speakers, but also on the website has more details on what Joy's offer is to you guys, because all of the speakers, they didn't want to just stop at speaking. We are coming in and pouring into you guys in other ways. So Joy has a free gift to you as well. Joy, do you want to share what that was?
Yes, I would love to share with you the Joy Preparing debrief. All of that stuff I'm talking about, this awareness and how I was able to make those decisions. Guys, I generally do that for $297, but I've given my ladies here a code. You get a code that you can use, and it'll make that free to you. So that way you can start knowing with that information where you are, and then we'll pour it back into you. We're not just going to give you a report. We're going to give you some basic steps of where to start. You even get the first 3 pages of my preparing journals to help you start finding out how to start cultivating your calendar.
I'm going to see if I can find that code, because I do have a document here that's keeping me organized. So Joy, I will be able to add that code in here, ladies, but you can also email me at speakers@monetizingmompreneurs.com, and we will get you that code as well. Joy, it was an absolute honor to have you here today with us and helping us get organized with our calendar. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, guys. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a chance, stop by the website at lindamendable.com. Sign up for the Blog Cure, which is an awesome course that I created that will help you set up your blog or take your blog to the next level. And join us over at Monetizing Mompreneurs Facebook group. I just want to say again, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.